Do you live your life in financial bondage? You may, and you may not even know it. Do you make it a point to put a certain amount of your paycheck each month into a savings account in order to have money available instead of using a credit card? If you use a credit card multiple times a month for everyday items you need or want, do you pay the balance off each month? Or do you accumulate interest fees that slows the payoff balance way down? Are you aware of your interest rate? What it is for your credit cards? Do you know what day of the month that your monthly statement rolls over and the interest is charged? So consider cash if you are a cash spender. Maybe you're the person who pays cash for everything. You're great at saving your money, putting away a certain amount of money in a savings account each month. You have great self-control. You're of the pressure of your friends and neighbors when your children pressure you to get the most current video games or the most up-to-date cell phone. You teach them to save and to pay half for what they want and teach them to value and appreciate their money. When you pay cash for everything, you can honestly say the amount you paid months ago still is what the cost was, and that no interest was incurred and built up that you paid for. The only problem with paying cash for everything is a person will not build up their credit. For most people, we need a credit card during vacation time. You need a credit card to reserve a rental car, a hotel room, an airline ticket, just to be a few examples. If you do any shopping online, it's likely that you're going to need to have a credit card. There is a great amount of peace and comfort to be in a situation where you can pay cash for the things you need and want. So then those who use a credit card consistently, oftentimes they say, well, it's the American way. That's why I use a credit card. It's true that the only way you can build your credit is to use credit. There will always be times when emergencies occur and that you need to use a credit card. But I know people who use them on a daily basis just out of habit. Once you have needed to apply an extensive amount onto a credit card, will you pay the monthly required payment, or will you pay extra and cut that balance down much quicker than if you paid the minimum payment? And oftentimes people who pay a minimum payment will feel that they pay their bills. So this allows more money freed up for them to use it again and again. On discover.com, they talk about calculating the interest rate. And there it talks about the APR and how to figure out your daily percentage rate. And you take the APR and you divide it by the 365 days, the number of days a year. And at the end of each day, the card issuer will multiply your current balance by the daily rate to come up with the daily interest charge. This charge is then added to your balance the next day. And this process is called compounding. So to avoid those, you should pay by the end of the statement. When is the best time to pay? So look at your statement and figure out when the grace period is over. Usually the credit card has a 21 days grace period from the time between the purchase date and the payment due date. If you pay the entire statement balance in full and on time, these charges will be waived by the card issuer. However, if a cardholder fails to pay the entire statement balance or does not make the payment on time, the interest charges that have already been incurred, they will be applied to the next statement. From creditcard.com, they talk about the grace period and how that works. The savings are and saved. You have to, the grace period on the interest charge can save the cardholder up to $100 a year if you follow the grace period and make your payments on time and pay the balance off each month. But you should follow up and study about the grace period to avoid those. Several years ago, I was encouraged to start putting $50 to $100 each month from my paycheck into a savings account. And after several months, it became a habit. And I actually look forward to putting that money away because it did accumulate much quicker than I expected. Time flies by so fast. Before we realized it, the balance had risen to $2,000. And around that time, we needed to replace a car part that was about $1,200. And what a blessing it was to have that money in savings and not need to use a credit card to make that purchase. It is a very empowering feeling. Daily smart choices we make often require an awareness, and everyone deserves to be in charge of the money they make and earn, not the bank or creditor. On LDS.org, if you search finances, you will come up with the One for the Money Guide to Family Finances by Marvin J. Ashton. In this amazing pamphlet, it teaches some basic rules to follow for managing your family finances. There is a small section that provides a great plan to get you started in eliminating your debt, called a debt eliminating calendar. If you're like me, you need a visual, and that really helped me get started in getting our debt under control, our finances under control. Sometimes it's overwhelming and hard to know where to get started. But you should check that out and make a decision and start today. Many times it is so overwhelming that people just won't do it. They put it off and won't do it. But it's your choice, and it is nice to be in control. The only things that you should have for paying interest on is a home and a car. We all need a decent car, a reliable car. And other than that, I encourage you to make a healthy choice and eliminate credit cards and interest in your life.